Hey guys, Kelade here. I know you guys have liked these mythic commentary videos, and I haven't really done one for the first few bosses, so let's knock out the first three all in one go. So for the first fight for Skorpyron, I do use my kind of quote-unquote AoE legendaries, which is my belt and my Kil'jaeden's Burning Wish, and I take War Machine, and I do have Avatar here, but ideally I would want to take Wrecking Ball here. I just took Avatar because this is kind of like a no-brainer fight, and I'm going to use Avatar for the next fight. But ideally, you do want to use War Machine and Wrecking Ball for this. So at the start of the fight, right, I charge in. I don't pop Old War. I pop Prolon because I'm not going to pop any cooldowns for this guy. I'm going to wait for the ads to spawn. Then once the ad spawns, then I'm going to pop all my cooldowns and use, Odin's Fury and kill Jaden's and blow them up instantly. So you guys can see the ads are coming out from the back here. Get on them, pop all my cooldowns, kill Jaden's and Odin's Fury, and they're essentially evaporated. What the biggest thing to do, you want to make sure that you're doing before you go on the ads is you want to make sure you're whirlwinding the boss to proc Meat Cleaver. That way, when you're popping your cooldowns and your rampage, you hit 5 rampages. Of course, the 4 other rampages aren't going to be doing 100% damage; they'll be like reduced by half. But that's still a pretty nice increase to your rampage damage. So right here, the boss does have cunning skeleton, so we do lust here, and we try to burn him down, except, I've already used my cooldowns for the ads. I'm pretty much saving my battle cry for every single ad, same with Odin's Fury. But if you guys are, actually having trouble pushing this boss for some reason, you can definitely use Drathos Souls in this fight. And when he does the Chitin Skeleton, you pop Drathos Souls, and they tick for, essentially double the damage. So you're going to get ticks that are going up to almost 2 million ticks from your draft. And always for Mythic for this fight, whenever he does a Shockwave, you want to make sure you're standing behind the pillars because for Mythic, you don't really want to spawn more ads than you guys have to handle. It just makes the fight much harder, and your tanks can actually get overwhelmed by ads. Unlike unlike normal and heroic, where your tank just pulls every single ad. On Mythic, it's more so just let's just get the fight over with, especially because people don't really care about Skorpyron parses anyways. But as you guys can notice, there are priority ads on Mythic that you really do have to kill. And then there's also when he puts the rocks on the ground, they're different color rocks, and they all kind of do their various different things. The blue rocks are generally always safe; nothing really happens. The green rocks, they'll drop like the pool on the ground, and then the red rocks, after he does the shockwave, they'll actually start pulsing. They won't do any damage, but once they finish their like entire cast, they'll do an AoE damage around them. So all you have to do is just get behind them, dodge a shockwave for the red ones, and then just move out afterwards. It doesn't do damage right away. So you can hide behind any of those rocks for a shockwave, and you'll be good to go. And as always, you want to make sure you're not standing in front of the focus blast. Um, Essentially, if you're not a fear warrior, you'll probably die to that just instantly. And you really don't want to get knocked back on this fight, like I mentioned, because your tanks aren't going to get overrun by ads. And eventually, I think he'll go down here. There is just a lot of AoE cleaving, so this is why, you know, being able to take Wrecking Ball would have been good on this fight, especially because I'm using the Whirlwind Belt anyways. But generally, I don't even execute stacks unless, he's about to die in the next few seconds anyways. I mainly just keep AoEing or kind of going with single target rotation. All right, now we're moving on to Chronomatic Anomoly. So for this fight, I do take War Machine and Avatar. That's mainly because once you kill the ads, you get a nice boost in damage. But of course, so on pull, we go in and I pop all my cooldowns, pop my draft, and then start my opening and rotation. Now for this fight, the strategy kind of changes depending on how geared you are. You could actually be so geared that you don't even need to kill that many ads. So like I think we only do 1 ad kill now, but I guess if your guild is even more geared or even less geared, you're gonna do either no ad phases or even 1 more ad phases. So we do kill this ad really fast. Before when we were killing these ads much slower, ideally what would happen is I would have Odin's Fury and Battlecry for these ads, but it's okay because I did get some nice Odin Champion procs and I was able to Odin's Fury those ads, and we sent all of our melee to the right, and you guys can see those ads got blown up because we came back to the range side and there's still ads over here on the left side. So there's a we might be sending too much DPS on the right side, but it's not too horrible for us. So after we blow those ads up, we just focus on Chronomatic Anomoly, and this is more so just where we go into our single target kind of rotation. So as far as for BCUs, right, you do want a BC Odin's Fury up for the ads because obviously that's going to be a big source of how you're going to parse highly is whether or not you're able to get a Battlecry buffed Odin's Fury onto the ads. And then I think something that I guess I'll get into it later on in the video, but for this fight specifically, I could have saved another BC plus Onus Fury for the ads, but I'm pretty sure that we can just kill the boss, and we don't need to kill that many ads. But we are starting to move the boss over to the right side. So the way that um, our guild kind of does this fight is that we have melee go to the right side first, and we move the boss to the left side with the range, and then we alternate. The next the next time he does the ads, they'll take him to the right side, and then range will have to kill the ads on the left side. This is just kind of I guess to even out like which either melee or range has to get the ads and the boss. Obviously, you want to be AoEing the boss and the ads since you're AoEing one more target. But so we've gotten to the point with the DPS where we actually don't even need to kill a second ad really. We end up killing it anyways, but it wasn't really necessary. Um, so as far as for knowing your cooldowns on this fight and when to use them, other than of course trying to get Battlecry Odin's Fury for the ads, it's really how your guild does this fight. If your guild is able to keep the boss with the stacks for much longer, then you can actually time your cooldowns differently. As you can see it there, for this fight, you don't really need any rage regeneration for anything other than if you get a bomb and you're sitting off in a corner. But to help your healers out, what you can do is when you have that debuff that requires you to be healed up or you're gonna do rage damage, it's good to just pop in rage regeneration and help your healers out there. So we get this guy pretty low. I just throw Odin's Fury there just to tag some ads with it. If you can ever get a few ads tagged with Odin's Fury, it's always nice. But here, let's get on to Trilliax. So I go with my full single target setup, right, which is Endless Rage and Avatar. And for this fight, we're gonna charge in and just pop all of our cooldowns right away. It's really nice if your tanks can also charge in. So like our Paladin, he charged it in. That makes it really nice for us to be able to charge in and instantly pop our cooldowns and use your draft and all that stuff. I didn't mention for the Chronomatic Anomoly, for that fight and this fight, you're only going to be doing Old War. The only fight that we don't use Old War is really just Skorpyron, if you're going to go with the AoE route. And then also, I'm trying to think, Gul'dan, if you guys don't lust in the beginning. Now, of course, you can always do that on Gul'dan later on, but for pull for Gul'dan, you could not. So right here, this is a pretty, for melee at least, this is a relatively like stable fight. We don't really do much other than just kind of stand here and whack the boss. Now, of course, I'm always scanning the room to see if there's any cakes that I can pick up. One good thing about, warriors or fury warriors getting the cakes is that we can always just leap onto a cake and then instantly charge back in, right? And you'll want to time this to be whenever you have to use a fury slash in a rotation. Right, so if there's ever a situation where, oh, my next spell cast is going to be Furious Slash, that's pretty much your best candidate to leaping out, grabbing a cake, and charging back into the boss. Now, also for this fight, it's also the strategy has slightly changed from when this fight was first came out. Nowadays, guilds have the DPS to just not even need to kill the imprint, and we don't end up killing it here. We just straight up burn the boss, and that's what we do. So the room's getting a little crowded. And the other thing is, as this fight gets easier and easier, kind of, you guys just have to always remember to kind of actually do the mechanics of the fight, because if the cakes or the fees aren't soaked, your raid will still wipe. And also, you see how there's 3 cakes right now in the front right there. You want to be careful when you're collecting those, because Trilliax does do AoE cone in front of him sometimes, and you want to make sure that if you're collecting a cake that's next to a tank, that you don't get too close and get cleaved down. And also for those little robots that you guys see going around, sometimes they'll explode, and sometimes you need to have melee soak them. But generally, if you guys have stuff like rogues or DKs, they're generally better candidates, right? So right there, you guys saw had to eat the cake, so just leap out and charge back in. I mean, we're essentially the best melee at doing that specific example, right? I don't think any melee can simultaneously pick up a cake and charge back in as fast as us. Maybe a Demon Hunters can, but I don't think they can beat the speed of hero leaping and instantly charging. Always when you want to always want to pay attention to when he has Annihilate. You guys saw I had Battle Cry there, but I know that he was going to do Annihilate, so I didn't want to pop my Battle Cry and waste the GCD of charging to the boss. The boss gets pretty low. I make the call right here to just pop Battlecry and execute him because I'm not going to be using Draft of Souls while he's channeling the beam, so I might as well get some use out of my battle cry there. And this is a relatively dirty finish, but we do end up killing him here in a couple more executes. But yeah, that's the first 3 bosses for the Nighthold raid. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the video. If you guys think this content is still relevant to you guys. As always, feel free to subscribe to the channel to see more content. See ya.